Hey guys, it's your boy Double D coming at you with another episode of my Thinking Out Loud series. As you guys know, this series is me taking a subject that's either in the media, maybe a historical subject, a cultural subject, or just maybe a concept that I've had buzzing around in my head. And I sit down in front of the camera, in front of this microphone, and I sort of just break down the issue, the thought, the time in history, and give you cultural perspective on it, societal perspective on it, scientific perspective on it, or maybe kind of just give you my opinions on it. Now, in this episode, I want to talk about women being pissed the fuck off right now. All right? Really, at this time point in history, we're seeing a third women's right movement. Okay? You know, back in the early 1900s, we saw women campaigning for the right to vote. In the 60s, 70s, we saw women fighting against discrimination in the workplace, fighting for sexual liberation. And right now, in 2019, we're seeing this third women's right movement where women are fighting to not be sexualized, to have bodily autonomy, to not be discriminated in the workplace. Any number of things. This third women's right movement, we're seeing women come out full of anger at the way that they've been treated, not only in the last few decades, not only in the last few centuries, but we see women coming out now pissed about how they've been treated for time immemorial. And I know this is a subject that's highly politicized right now. We have this very political correct culture, this social justice warrior culture, where a lot of men, particularly white men, feel ousted. They feel stigmatized. They feel like their opinions don't matter or that the whole world is angry at them. And I'm sure that's frustrating for men. But what I want to talk about today is where I want to try to get across where women are coming from right now. And I want to talk about how, as men, we have a responsibility in this day and age, coming into the year 2020, to make room for women at the table of society. Now, this video is dedicated to women. It's talking about women's issues, but really it's directed to you guys. It's directed to men like myself and trying to understand where women are coming from and what we can do to make their journey towards liberation and self-actualization easier. Now, I think a good place to start is talking about this third women's right movement, okay? It really started to come to a head during the 2016 election, where we started getting these recordings or whatever of Donald, or sound bites of Donald Trump saying things like, grab her by the pussy, I come onto her, I just kiss her, she can't say no, this locker room talk stuff. We saw it start to boil up during this time, and it really culminated with Trump's inauguration when we had the Women's March on D.C. with women wearing the pussy hat, women showing up topless, women showing up with fucking banners of pissed off uteruses. You know, I think there was something like 1 million people that marched on D.C., and this was really the moment that kicked off other movements that came about afterwards, like the Me Too movement, trying to end sexual discrimination in the workplace, trying to end sexual predation and stuff. And it's never really left the news cycle since. And I see people really politicizing this issue, and like I said, acting like because women are speaking up about how they've been treated throughout human history, how they're being treated now, I see a lot of men taking a side and feeling attacked, right? And because of that, they downplay what women have gone through history, and they downplay what women are going through now. Now, guys, I understand with the PC culture and the SJW culture that you're feeling super attacked right now. I mean, dude, I've been on the side of it where I felt frustrated because I've had, certain types of people say that I can't talk that way. That I've had people tell me that my opinion doesn't matter because I'm a white cisgendered male. And I know this stuff's going on right now, and I know it's frustrating. But this video isn't about you guys. This video is trying to get you to understand where women might be coming from. You don't have to agree, but I'm going to try to talk about some of the points here. And where I want to start with that is think about human history for a minute. Okay? Think about women's role in human history. Think about cavemen, Neanderthals, or whatever. When you picture a caveman and woman, what's the image that culturally comes to mind? It's the man, the caveman, bonking a woman over the head and dragging her by the hair back to the cave for God knows what. I think we all know what, right? Okay, so you have that image, right? That has been the relationship of men to women for the last probably 10,000 years. It has been a relationship that objectifies women, that views women as a reproductive resource, not as human beings. And it goes on throughout history. Let's step forward a number of years. The Middle Ages. You have knights and you have the king with all the power and the noblemen and all that, etc., etc. What's the role of the women? To be married off to political rivals and political or rival states, rival kingdoms, as a resource to perpetuate peace. They had no sexual autonomy. They would be married into families that they didn't know, didn't care for, and they would be essentially raped by their husband because that was good for the state. Think about, up until just 100 years ago, women didn't have the right to vote, man. Now, transcend that to the modern times. As a grown man, do you ever walk down the street and feel afraid for your life or for your well-being? Maybe sometimes. Maybe sometimes you go through a neighborhood that's seedy and has a lot of crime and you're afraid of getting robbed. But can you imagine walking down the street and not only do you have to be worried about being robbed, you have to be worried about being forcibly stripped naked and held to the ground and raped. That is something that women have had to deal with throughout all of history. The fear that a big giant man is going to walk right up and have his way with you sexually, rape you, impregnate you, and you can do nothing about it because you're too small necessarily to fight back. You can't fight back against a big man, or in times of war throughout history, soldiers, men with swords or men with guns, gangs and gangs of them, an army of them coming into your village, and you can't do anything. They just hold you down and rape you. You have no say. Fast forward even more to the modern time. We have laws coming out now where if a woman's raped, the rapist gets paternal rights to the child. We have laws where if a woman tries to get an abortion, even if she's raped, she can be tried for murder. And not just her, but the doctor that performed the abortion. We're living in an age with, airplanes and internet telecommunications, and we got Elon Musk's Neuralink coming on where we're going to be able to fuse with machines and maybe go to Mars and do all this crazy shit. And women still have to be afraid of being raped, still have to worry about workplace discrimination, still have to worry about being sexually harassed in the street, in the workplace, by their family members, being molested by their fathers or uncles. Guys, you have to understand, we as men are extremely privileged to not have to deal with these problems. Okay? And we have to try in this time period to empathize with our women, not just what they're going through with now, but what they have gone through generation after generation after generation. Imagine the shoe was on the other foot. Imagine you didn't get to choose who you married. You didn't get to choose if you wanted to have a kid or not. Every time you as a man walked down the street, you thought there was going to be a gang of women to come and fucking rape you, right? Imagine the shoe being on the other foot. Imagine what women have gone through since time in memoriam and are still going through now in the United States of America in the year 2019. Can you imagine having to walk to your car every night with keys between your hand because you're afraid of some monster coming and forcing you to have sex with them against your will? Can you imagine? Can you imagine being told you had sex, whatever? You're a woman. You're a human being. You have the right to enjoy sex. You had sex just like a man would. But now suddenly you're held responsible to carry a human being to term even though you don't want to in your body and have your body ripped apart because the government tells you that you have no control of your body. It's not your body anymore. Can you imagine that? Another one I hear about is women that try to go and get their tubes tied and they can't. The doctor tells them, no, you either have to be married or have a kid or you have to be this certain age or whatever. Dude, if you're 18 years old and you're a man and you don't want to have kids because you're worried about the financial implications of it, you can go in to the doctor's office and schedule a vasectomy for a month later. No problem. Imagine being told that you couldn't do that. That's what women have to go through every day. Now, I'm kind of rambling about the issues women have had to face. Think about it, guys. They've got a right to be angry. And I know it probably sucks to sit here, you get on the internet and you feel blamed every day as a man for what happened. But the truth is, we contribute to these problems, okay? And like I said, the main point of this video is to try to talk about, what do we do? How do we make room for women at the table? And this isn't just a women's rights issue. It's a human rights issue. If our women aren't free, if our women aren't liberated, if our women don't have control over their bodies or their sexuality over themselves, then we are not free either. Okay? And this, women can stand up and march and wear pussy hats and go topless and get fucking pissed all they want. But unless men start changing their perspective on women, unless men start pursuing different actions, they can do that all they want. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference if their men don't stand up beside them and say, hey, we're not letting other men treat our women like this anymore. We have to change. Something I want you guys to think about is, and this is an issue that's not just in the media. It's not just something that's being bolstered up. This is something that, as a father of a young daughter, I see as a very, very personal issue. And I see it affecting, I see the attitudes towards women affecting young girls and young women that I know of in my own life. Women in my own life, I see them affected by this. One of the first things we can do as men is, like I said, clear space for women at the table. I'll tell you what I see a lot of guys doing, and I don't blame them for it because this is what thousands of years of culture has perpetuated. Thousands of years of culture has made okay. But you know what's one thing that I see that we can change individually today? Maybe we can't change abortion laws. Maybe we can't change the perspective of violent men. But what we can do is change what we do on a day-to-day basis. And one thing that I see men doing all the time is talking over women. You'll have, a group of friends, let's say there's 3 dudes, 2 girls, whatever. And everyone's talking, and then the woman will start to talk about whatever it is. Let's say it's a political thing. She'll try to go and make her opinion heard. And not even halfway through, not even a third of the way through what she's trying to say, the men will just start talking over her. I've seen it. I see it all the time. They'll just start talking over her like she's not even there. And then she doesn't know what to do because suddenly it's not just one guy talking over, it's 2 and 3. And then she's just completely closed out of the conversation. Just muscled out of the conversation. One thing that we can do to be more inclusive towards our women is, like I said for the 100th time now, making room for women at the table. When we're sitting around the table, us dudes or whatever, we got a couple girls there, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and listen to what she has to say, just like you'd listen to your brother and what he's got to say. These women are our sisters. These women are our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, man. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Let her talk. And let's say, you're conscious of this. You shut up. This is something I've had to work towards. I used to interrupt women all the time because you just don't think about it. It's just so ingrained in our culture, right? And I made myself shut up. But we can do better than that. We can go one better than that. Say that you've awoken to this concept and that you're trying to implement it. But then, the girl's talking, and then your homie, your fucking friend, interrupts her. And he starts talking and talking over her and saying his opinion instead of letting her speak. You can be like, yo, dude, shut up. Let her talk let her finish what she's saying. Let's listen to her. That's something that we can do today, okay? The second thing we can do is, look, I know we're men. We're fucking horny, man. We're fucking horny. Dude, our dicks are literally like pulling us through the fucking world. I know. You see a pretty girl walking down the street, it's hard not to stare. She's fucking gorgeous. She's got a nice booty. She's got nice breasts. Her skin's smooth. Her hair's beautiful. She's got her makeup all done. It's hard not to stare. But guys, we can change our perspective on how we look at a beautiful woman on the street. Okay? We can stop just staring at her ass. You have to be aware, like, dude, you can admire her beauty. You can look at a girl go by and be like, whoa. And be to your homie like, dude, that girl's hot. That's fine. That's male sexuality. It's fine. I don't want to condemn male sexuality. But guys, stop fucking staring at her. Stop fucking staring at her while she walks down the street. Take a second or two to look at her. I mean, you want to peek at her butt a little bit. It's perfectly natural. Women peek at our butts and our muscles and shit. It's perfectly natural. Take a little peek. Appreciate. But change your mindset of just not sexually objectifying her. Look at her like a piece of artwork. Me personally, I think the most beautiful creature on this planet is women. The way they smell, the way they talk, the way they sing, the way they walk through the world, the way their hair moves in the wind. One of the things that's helped me be better towards women, and look, I'm not perfect. I'm a fucking horn dog. I'm a fucking pervert. I'm not perfect. But one of the things I do to try to be better is when a woman walks down the street, instead of being like, oh, there's a sweet piece of ass, I say, wow. She's fucking beautiful. And I let myself look at her and just appreciate every aspect of her, from the way she's dressed, the way she's done her hair, the way she's done her makeup. And I say, wow, that's fucking amazing. That's something we can do, man. That's something we can do. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. I'm going to try to cut this video down, but look, guys, our women have had to deal with nothing but a history of violence, persecution, objectification. They've had generation after generation of women have had to live in terror of their men. They've had to live with the fact that their voices aren't heard, that at the table they are pushed out, that they are not listened to, that they are seen and not heard, right? And it's up to each of us men to start changing that perspective. And I want you guys to think about something. I was talking to some people on the internet. 96% of all homicides on the earth are committed by men. 96% of all murders are done by men. Okay? I don't know the exact figure, but you can go ahead and take a guess of how many of those murders are committed over sexual jealousy. Either a man killing a woman because he's sexually frustrated or jealous, or a man killing another man because he's sexually jealous. Women did not create this problem. Women have done nothing throughout human history but love us, nurture us, guide us, give us wisdom spiritually, politically, familially. Women did not create this problem. Women did not ask to be objectified. They did not ask to be made into sex objects. They did not ask to be raped or molested. They didn't ask for this. And you look at a figure like 96% of all men, or 96% of all homicides are committed by men. And it's kind of hard to deny the fact that we men are the problem here. And like I said, women can march all they want. They can sit down on their jobs all they want. They can. I've heard this thing about like a sex protest where women aren't having sex with men right now. Women can do all these things all they want, but it's not going to change. We're not going to create a better future for little girls that will be women one day, like my daughter. We won't create a better world for our daughters until, first, we men look inside of us and deal with our inner frustrations, our inner violence, our inner need to subjugate women. We can't solve these problems until we look inside and recognize that there is a problem. And we can't move forward until we start making these small steps, like realizing this woman has just as right to sit at the table as I do. Okay? We can't change the future and change the narrative until we stop looking at the women walking down the street like a sex object. The change towards making a better relationship between man and woman, towards making a more equal society, towards making a better world, a better future in general, has to be within men. This is our battle. It's time to change. It's time to stop being violent. It's time to stop overly sexualizing women. It's time that we stop making war on our women, stop hating our women, stop being frustrated with our women. It's time for us to take our women by the shoulder and sit them down at this fucking table with us. The table that's going to be our future. Alright? Maybe you guys disagree with me, whatever. But I just want to give you my perspective on what I've seen going on. And, hopefully, if I didn't change your mind, hopefully get you thinking about the subject and thinking about being better. Well, thanks for sitting down with me, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and bang the bell so when I drop another video, you'll be the first one to know. All right, this has been Thinking Out Loud with Double D. Take it easy, guys. Bye.